Hey guys, Figure Therapy here today, and today we're going to be taking another look at another Monogatari figure, just to kind of get that momentum going. So I just got this one in the mail today. This is the, I think it should be 1/8 scale, they should be all on the same scale, but 1/8 Araragi Tsukihi, which is the bird, and she is basically the smallest sister for the Araragi family, and one half of the fire sisters. So yeah, so I apologize because it's not completely in frame. The box is relatively large. I mean, all of them are pretty big, so yeah, there you go. And then do a quick turn around here. But yeah, so there's all the different parts of the boxes. Now, interestingly enough, she does come with two versions, I guess, or no, she doesn't come with two versions. It's there were two versions released. So there's actually there is a green version of her because she often also wears the green here just the green yukata. So then there is another alternate color version, and that one is much more expensive. I got mine for about a little under 140 or 130. It was 130, yeah. So 130 is not that bad. I think MSRP was around 100-ish. I forgot to check on this one, but ultimately the current market value is around, like, let's say pre-owned, like 120 to 100. I haven't seen them ever that low, really. I think I just submitted a best offer, so that's why I got it a little bit cheaper. And they were also in California, so perfect. But yeah, I got this one new, but this one just says have the front of the box has become unglued. But that's a totally easy fix. You just go back in with some glue or hot glue or whatever, and you just fix it. Actually, I wouldn't recommend hot glue. I'd just say super glue, but because hot glue could warp the plastic. But yeah, so ultimately you're looking around there. High end, I would pay at most 170 to 180. That's kind of where I would see the range for that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The box itself is beautiful. This is all, like all the other ones, it's the Blu-ray cover, so really nice. And then just a similar design style and the grid of this particular back image, and then the side the same thing. So she is from NiseMonogatari, so let's go ahead and crack her open. Actually, it's perfect because the the picture behind, so if you guys never noticed, my backdrop is actually of the Fire Sisters, but in in the Volfan style. So yeah, actually I think this was pre-owned. This should be new though. That's kind of sketchy, but we'll find out. Yeah, but inside of the box, like usual, this one's cool because it's just a little bit of dots here and there. Not as super nice as the other ones, so we can go ahead and see if this is actually new or not. I mean, I hope it is, because the guy marked or described it as new. So one side has tape, and the other side... Okay, so the tape isn't broken. So usually there's a tape that runs... There's two tapes that run on each corner, and it's kind of how you would tell. Also, the wrapping, sometimes if you... I mean, unless you meet someone who really likes to go back and redo the wrapping, most of the time it's pretty... annoying to redo just because how they position it, so it's more of just like a one and done sort of thing. So this is new. Okay, cool. A little worried there, but I mean the price I paid, it's regardless, it's kind of whatever. There's some crap in there, but yeah, what's cool about the base is it's shaped like the egg, her egg hairpin. So there's that. Let's go ahead and take her out ever so carefully. Yeah, looking fresh there. But here, let's bring the camera a little closer. But first, let me just take out all the contents slowly and carefully, just so you guys can see what comes in the box. So, you know, she's got this. Ooh, careful with that one. This is the mask that kind of hangs off her head. So, yeah. It's cool because her little hairpin is also... Ooh, let's see if I can just... I don't know why sometimes it's like the camera has a hard time like picking up some of the details, which is kind of unfortunate. But you know what? I'll unbox everything first, and then I'll get a closer look. That would probably be better because it's probably picking up all this crap in the back. But yeah, and then you just take all this out. I really can't tell if this was pre-owned. It's actually no, it's definitely new. So yeah, all this crap on here, like all this extra wrapping and everything, definitely no one would take the time to go back and redo that. So especially if you're selling it to someone else, so it's kind of whatever. But yeah, so just kind of, wow, this thing is really, so all these little masks are basically on these kind of like clamshell packaging sort of thing, and then you just have to take each one out. You just throw that back in the box. Yeah, I mean, at least it's protected. I like that. I always am a big fan of them going the extra mile to make sure all the paint is protected. Also, I know this figure in particular is kind of unstable. I've heard of numerous cases where people are just not careful with it, and then it falls off the shelf, and a lot of the stuff gets damaged just because there's like a lot of small stuff on here. But yeah. I will say though, it is kind of funny that all the Monogatari statues seem to are really like unstable, in the sense that sometimes like there's parts on there that just are super sketchy. Like the most obvious one is the Senjo, who has a ton of parts on her, and all of them are connected via clear pegs. And for those of you who don't know, clear plastic is brittle, so it's much easier to break clear plastic as opposed to like regular plastic. So that's just a heads up. That's why clear plastic is kind of sketchy. It's funny because you guys only see my arm, so but I'm just trying to unwrap this thing as carefully as possible, because this is the little jungle gym here is really well wrapped. There's like little bow ties and stuff. Yeah, but like as I was saying, clear plastic is really brittle, so I really recommend being extra careful with that kind of stuff. You know, it's just something just to make sure that you, as a person, do not break your very expensive figure. Okay, so base right here, girl right here. There should be one more part though. Let me double check this really quick. Yes, found it. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, she does come with this extra base, which would go at the back of her foot. Now, that is a very easy piece to misplace. I'll go ahead and show you guys where it is in the box. So, a lot of time people forget that there might be some like clear parts or whatnot, so usually they'll make an inlet for it, so just keep an eye out on that one, just to be careful. Now, she doesn't really need it, it's just more of like a stability thing. Yeah. This thing right here is a little annoying though. Okay, there we go. I'll just leave that right there. So, there you go. Take a closer look at all these masks. Yeah, okay, there we go. So, all these masks are really well painted. No real, like, paint blemishes or anything. They're just all fox masks and this little demon mask. The only one that's really just kind of sliding around is this one. In terms of quality on the jungle gym itself, it's pretty nice. Now, honestly, I forget if there's a knockoff of this figure. I haven't seen it in a while. I know for sure there's a knockoff of the Good Smile Shinobu, which is the one where she's all on the donuts. That for sure. So if you ever, I think, if anything, you should always exercise caution on buying figures that are less than, let's say, like $80. So if it's less than $80, you should kind of be wary and think, I think it might be a KO. But this one should be fine. So she also comes with this little fan, this little pinwheel. It does not articulate, so I would not try that. And then the other mask, which is for the side of her head, if it's like a display option. So basically what's cool is you just take the jungle gym and then you plop it on here. You know what? I need to make sure that I do this right. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, there you go. So there's that, and then let's go ahead and get her out. So this one's kind of scary because she doesn't really plug in anywhere. Her only really like point of plugging in is the palm of her hand. So like that. I think. So a little something like that. Let's see. Yeah. I guess there's really not much to talk about in terms of like a review of this thing, because statues are very straightforward. There's nothing really spectacular about them other than the fact, that you look at them, nothing broke. Okay, yeah, watch out for these parts. These are very, these feel brittle, so most likely they were painted over some form of clear plastic. But yeah, so let me make sure I get this right just before I break anything. But, okay, just had to double check this one. Okay, so her hand will go up there, and then the hole in her hand will go on this this intersection one. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, I can definitely see this is kind of sketchy. So peg her hand in there first. You want to hear it nice and tight. But yeah, wow, that's so sketchy. But once her hand is in there, she is pretty good. That's why I think this little extra stand definitely will help in this situation. You would just kind of put it in the back of her foot, and then it is on a ball joint, so you can just go ahead and articulate a little bit. But there's that. And then the pinwheel will just go, it should just go right around here. You know what? Some of this stuff is so sketchy, I swear. Okay, so there is a little tiny red peg here, and you take that out, and then that's where you put the pinwheel. So that is kind of weird, but okay. Nice, so you have this little red peg. Definitely keep that, do not throw that away. I will probably put that on a piece of tape and then return it. But there we go. Okay, so that's pretty much her, and just taking a close look at the details here really quick. The figure itself is pretty nice. There's some dust on her face, but yeah, and there's the printing on her dress is also super nice. There's like a little phoenix on her back, and then her butt. But you know what? I will say something right here. This is actually a really cool detail right here. It's that you can actually see her underwear through her yukata, because it's you can see a little, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but you can see the lines that her underwear kind of presses out. Yeah, just, I don't know, some stuff like that. It's cool because it's attention to detail, and honestly, that's cool stuff. So yeah, and let's go ahead and check out the chest. Wow, see, that is so sketchy. I don't know how well that was designed in a sense, you know what I mean? Because it's like kind of unstable, and even when you press it down, you're basically kind of forcing it in because the PVC is a little bit stretchy. So you're basically, when you push it into the peg, it'll kind of force it. It's almost like a little bit of give, and that's what really keeps it on there. And then her other hand doesn't really wrap around the actual bar. It's more of just resting on there. So yeah. Her fingers are pretty nicely sculpted, though. If you can see right there, there's some on her fingernails. There's a little bit of paint on there, which is cool. I like it when they do like they paint the fingernails. So a good example of that would be the altar chitoge in the one where she's jumping. So that's a good example. And then yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, the only thing I'm kind of disappointed about is that the base doesn't have the yoke from her headband, because it does look a little bit off now. So it would be nice if they had printed like the little yoke thing right there, and I think that would be very Monogatari style. Because eventually, when I get the Hachikuji, I used to own it actually, and it had some nice printing on the base where it showed Araragi like standing over like his shadow. So that was actually pretty nice. I guess just for the sake of the review, we'll check it out, or we'll go ahead and pop on the other headpiece. So you just kind of pop out her egg hair clip, and then you pop on the other one. So you basically just want to position it here. And there you go. So that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, like I said, this connection is a little scary. I wouldn't put her anywhere high up, if you know what I mean, just because it's like, man, if she fell, that would be a big bummer. But yeah, also this stand doesn't really, like, there's a considerable amount of distance from her foot to the stand. So that is a little weird. I don't know how to feel about that one. But ultimately, I say it's a good figure. I mean, if you like Tsukihi, there's not a lot of, okay, it's Monogatari, so there's a lot of figures out there. But if you want like the definitive Tsukihi, I think this one's a good one, just for the fact that it shows her more innocent side, so that's actually pretty cool as well. And eventually, when I pull out the Karen, because I do have the Karen on the side, but I was just waiting for Tsukihi to show up so I can have them both together. But yeah, the Karen's really cool because it shows her more like playful and kind of more like prideful side. She's very kiddish in that one, which is cool. And then yeah, so ultimately pretty nice. I like the jungle gym. I always like when they have like the I guess like Japanese playgrounds are kind of interesting. I have the there's a Band Presto set for NiseMonogatari where it has the circular jungle gym, and if you get 4 of them, you can make an entire jungle gym. And I have that set up with my Figmas right now. So when I do a connection or collection video, it'll be more apparent. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this kind of unboxing dual review sort of thing. I hope that kind of helped you guys make a decision on this figure. Ultimately, I guess the verdict is if you like Tsukihi, I'd recommend getting this figure. Or if you don't really have the budget for it, there are other alternatives, but they're very cheap. So like the Band Presto ones, they aren't going to be as finely sculpted or as dynamic as this one. But they're the Ichiban Kuji one, which is the one in her school outfit. That one's a good alternative too, and that'll run you about 60 to 80 just because of the Ichiban Kuji. But yeah, ultimately, if you have the extra cash, I'd recommend picking this one up. But if you have a little bit more cash, I would recommend throwing it into the green version, because you do tend to see the green version of her yukata more, and that is like the canon one. So it's like, yeah, in a sense, like this one's cool just because it's a little bit cheaper, and you know, it's easier to find in the green version. So yeah, and you know, always be careful. There's tons of parts on her that are super sketchy, like this ribbon, the pinwheel. Obviously, I've heard people breaking that before, and then her ahoge, and then also her shoes. Her shoes are a little sketchy there too. But ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Look forward to bringing you guys some more Monogatari related topics, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time.